total amount for 6 months of traveling. So as you can see from the title of this video, this is a Q&A video. We have been traveling for 6 months already, which is just like mind-blowing. We can't believe it's been that long. So we wanted to take a moment to reflect on the past 6 months of traveling, and we thought a great way to do that would be to ask for some questions and maybe answer some questions that people have about what our travels have been like over the past 6 months.
So the way we're going to structure this one is we're going to pop up the question onto the screen before we start speaking about it, leave it there for a few seconds, and then answer the question. Now, in case you just want to have a proper read of the question, we just advise that you pause the video just for a little bit so you can have proper read, and then carry on with the video as soon as you're ready. But without further ado, let's jump into the first question.
Thank you so much for your question, Craig. Honestly, we wanted to start with this one because we were blown away when we went back and we looked at all of our costs and our spending over the past 6 months. We actually can't believe the total amount of money that we have spent for 6 months of traveling. Hold on to your hats for this one.
And also, this is a total amount from the day that we left South Africa up until this point, including the first initial flights that we took. So this is everything included for our entire time of traveling.
Okay, total amount, 53,618 Rand. That is just insane. We can't believe that that's the total. That is the power of WORKAWay. That's all we'll say.
We were busy adding it up earlier, and it took us like half an hour to go through the whole budget. But honestly, when you added up everything together, like for me, I was just so blown away because I was honestly expecting that figure to be at least double that. And I was just thinking that that's how much we spent for 6 months of traveling for 2 people. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's insane. To get to answering your Craig, and to get to answering your question, Craig, honestly, I think that would be like a rough amount of money. I feel like that shows you how little you can spend, because I definitely feel like we could have spent more. I think that there are a lot of factors to consider because COVID plays such a big role in travel these days. So a lot of the places that we visited and countries that we've been to, there were a lot of things we couldn't do. So maybe museums or sites to see or things that we could have done, touristy things that we could have done, but that were not open when we were there or that just were restricted. So we didn't end up spending money on things like that. So I feel like this shows you how little you can spend. Thank you for your question, Alray. I actually found it really interesting to think about this one. So the biggest thing for me, or one of the biggest things that like struck me throughout our whole time of traveling so far, is when we were in Poland, we would drive past a cemetery, and something that struck me every single time we'd pass one is just how colorful they were. So that's something I've never seen before, and they're colorful from flowers, fresh flowers that are laid down on all the graves daily. And I think that's probably just part of the Polish culture, and is that they are very serious about, this is just my interpretation of what I saw, but maybe that they are very serious about paying respects to their deceased relatives, and that they would literally go like daily or as regularly as they can to lay flowers on the graves. And I'm not talking about like one set of flowers on like each grave or whatever. I'm talking like multiple, like it's colorful. And it's actually quite beautiful, like something that's signifies death would actually be so beautiful and colorful. So, and
it's not just even flowers, like they'll go and clean around the gravesite. They'll pick up the weeds and those sort of things, so they just make the burial site beautiful and just looking very good. But for me, the biggest thing that I've learned, it's a bit of a sad one, it's a throwaway culture across, like from where we've been, so like the UK, Europe, and now to Georgia as well. Just how easily people throw away food. It's just like, it's still, although we've been exposed to it for 6 months already, it's still every day that we see it, we just like, oh. Because I don't know if it's the same across the whole of South Africa, but just like with our 2 households, we never throw food away. We always make sure that the food is finished. And like an example of this throwaway culture, it's a bit of a funny one. When we were still in Coveney, I was busy throwing away the rubbish. And then I saw like a tub of hummus go into the bin. And I had a look at this tub and I thought, no, this thing is still unopened. It was still sealed. And it had just passed the expiry date. I think it was either the same day or the day before. And I was like, nope. Thank you very much. I'm taking that tub of hummus. I took it and I ate the tub. And I'm still here today, so everything worked out just fine.
Thank you for your question, Cass. This one, I would have to say, is something that we've done recently that's pushed me out of my comfort zone the most. That is this place that we're at in Georgia. It's like an adventure camp. So we've been doing like rock climbing and like sort of that kind of activity. For me, as someone that struggles a bit with heights, it's been really pushing me out of my comfort zone, and I've been pushing myself and pushing my limits, which is great because I love that feeling of adrenaline that you get when you achieve something or push yourself out of your comfort zone, and I haven't felt this much adrenaline in a very, very long time. So it's really been fun and it's been a cool experience.
So for me, it's a two-parter. The first one is just cleaning bathrooms. Now, cleaning bathrooms is okay. I've actually found that I quite enjoy cleaning a toilet for some odd reason. I quite enjoy cleaning a toilet, but the difficult part for me is cleaning a shower drain. That one is tough. When you have to pick out all the hair, and that one's not, it's not a fun job for me. But the second part, skiing on slopes that aren't prepared. Because when we were in France, we had to walk up to the top of the slope. So you don't actually take notice of everything around you because you're busy dying walking up the slopes. But as soon as you get to the top and you look to the bottom and you just see there's ruts and it's just not prepared. And it's honestly, when you're going down, like I remember the last time I did it, I was scared. Like I was actually struggling to ski quite a lot because I was so scared of just like falling and injuring myself. So
and you had falls where you'd like hurt your knee.
I had quite a few bad falls where I had a number of scares with my knees. So all of that adding together just really pushed me quite a lot. Thank you, Tiff Tot, for the message. So honestly, for me, my greatest source of inspiration and what's keeping us going, keeping me going, is our YouTube channel and just seeing the growth in that. And on top of that, I think the thing that I would put above that, on those long nights when you're spending time struggling with a particular video and you finally manage to put something together, my greatest source of inspiration is when I get to show this little one right here the video. And she starts watching it, and then afterwards she's just got this massive smile on her face. And she just wants to watch it over and over again. I'm like, yes, it was all worth it for that moment right there.
It's so cute. So for me, something that I find a lot of inspiration for carrying on and pushing with what we're doing, even when the numbers aren't showing, maybe our channel isn't growing as fast as we wanted to, or we aren't seeing the numbers that we want, is firstly how much this traveling and making videos has upped our travel experience. And by that I mean it makes us go out and explore and find things that are interesting and find things to do, and I love that about it. And I also love that I can go back and watch our old videos and get so much enjoyment out of them now. Even we haven't even been doing it for a full year yet, and I really enjoy going and watching our old videos. So I can imagine in like 5 years time going back and watching them, it'll just be so special. So that's something that really helps to motivate me and inspire me to keep making these videos. Thank you for your question, Natasha. It's a bit of a difficult one to give a specific answer to. I feel like almost every place that we've been to is kind of like a hidden gem, in the sense that Workaway and Workaway opportunities take you to places that are like off the beaten track. And I think that's one of the things I love the most about it, or I enjoy the most about it, is that a lot of the places we've been to, I don't think we ever would have gone to those particular places or those cities or those regions if it hadn't been for Workaway. So it's almost like I don't have a specific answer. It's like every one of the Workaways we've been to so far had something special about it and interesting about it, and something about it that made it a hidden gem to us, or to me.
So for me, a hidden gem isn't really a place, but it's a feeling. And I'll always refer back to like going for a run. An example of that is just when we go running here, we're busy running in the Caucasus Mountains. Or when we're back in France, we're busy running through the French Alps while it's busy snowing. And it's just that moment when you stop and think and just have a look around and just think to yourself like, what have I done right to get me up until this point right here? You're just looking around at the beautiful scenery and just like taking it all in and just thinking like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. And we can't quite believe that we found ourselves here. So for me, it's not a place, but it's that feeling of just like taking it all in and just being so appreciative of the journey that we're on at the moment.
Thank you for your question, Marie-Sue. So this one was a bit of a funny one because the one place that we feel like we'd want to go back to is France. And we actually spent the most time in France in all the countries that we've been to so far. But unfortunately, when we were in France, we only really explored that small mountain village that we were staying in, which was absolutely stunning and we loved our time there. But we wish that we could have seen more of different regions of France. So if there was one place that we could go back to, it would be France to see more of the different areas and regions in the country.
So the nice thing about traveling with WORKAWAY and traveling the way that we are is that whenever we get to the end of a particular stay, we always feel ready to go on to the next spot. We never have the feeling of, oh, we just want to stay for a bit longer. So it's like that feeling of whenever you get to the end of a school holiday, you always feel like, I don't want to go back to school. I'm not ready to go back to school, but it's a complete opposite for us. By the time we've reached the end of a stay, we've really experienced as much as what we could, we've learned as much as what we could, and we just feel ready to move on to the next spot. And that's just such a settling feeling for us. Thank you, Lauren and Seth, for your question. Yeah, there is a lot that we do miss about home. Firstly, obviously our family, our friends, other things being the weather. We really, really miss the warm weather in
Probably
South Africa.
because we've been traveling in such cold places so far, but the weather.
It's been 6 months and we're just finally getting our first bit of sunny weather now, so it's just amazing. And also a very, very big thing that I miss probably daily is just making a bra or a barbecue, what the rest of the world calls it. For me and like my family specifically, that was nearly like a daily thing that we're doing, so I really do miss that part.
To answer your question about whether we plan on going back to South Africa, definitely, definitely, definitely. I don't think our intention was ever to leave South Africa and never go back. It was always to go and experience the world and then go back home someday.
Thank you, Nicole, for your question. We want to do WORKAWAY for as long as we can, but recently we started having this feeling of we just need a break. Because it's been 6 months now of going from WORKAWAY to WORKAWAY to WORKAWAY, and just after a while it does start taking a toll because you are working 5 days a week and you're constantly surrounded by people. So you do get a bit tired after a while. So we do have a goal of once we do reach 1,000 subscribers, that we just want to go away somewhere and just for a week take time off, not have to worry about cleaning like rooms, not having to worry about cleaning yards, just have time for ourselves just to take some time off.
As a long-term travel plan, you have to factor in some breaks somewhere, especially if you are traveling and like we are doing where we're traveling and we're making videos at the same time. There's that aspect that we have to work on and time that it takes to do that as well. Thank you for your question, Tiff Tot. Yes, yes, yes. I've been saying that I want to go and travel somewhere outside of Europe. So the reason that we've been in Europe so much is because some of you may know that I have a British passport and Marek has a Polish passport. So traveling within Europe is really easy and accessible for us, especially because the current situation in the world is just really easy for us to move around in Europe. But we definitely want to go and explore other countries and continents around the world. I think a major reason as well why we've been staying within Europe is because there's so much that we want to see in Europe, and we feel like before like jetting off and setting like off way around the other side of the world, we'd rather see what there is to see and what we want to see in Europe and then set off to another place around the world. Thank you, Waldy, for your question. If we can manage to continue to spend money in the same way that we have for the past 6 months, we don't know if we will be able to because it does depend on which countries you go to and there's just a lot of unknown factors that come with it. But if we can spend money the way we have for the past 6 months, and if we can start to earn money from some of the things that we've been doing, so like from our channel and from other online sources, we think we could at least travel for another year, which is pretty exciting to think about.
Thank you, Ethan, for the question. So from the very first day that we left South Africa, it's kind of been that whole thing of us two against the world. The way that we've chosen to travel isn't the easiest. There's a lot of moving parts for whenever we change countries, and it's during those moments where we do just need to help each other through the tough times. We really just need to build each other up when we are not feeling the greatest. We've become such a good team and our relationship has really just grown from strength to strength. And I always use the example, our relationship is like, you know, that the law scales. So whenever one side of the scale is starting to drop a bit, the other person then comes and works and levels out the scale again. And that's the way that our relationship has really grown from strength to strength during our 6 months of traveling already.
So I always think whenever people ask questions about relationships and to do with traveling, and whenever I see like other travel couples, I always think of that phrase where, or I don't know if it's a phrase, but where people say like, if you want to test a relationship, like go travel with the person. And that is so true. We can definitely say that over the past 6 months, we have had some really high moments and some really low moments. And something that I can say definitely somewhere, or an aspect that I can see such a major difference in, is when we have tough moments, we've reached a point where it's like no longer is anyone pointing fingers and it's like, oh, whose fault was it that this went wrong, or like negative feelings or anything like that. When something goes wrong on a travel day, when something goes wrong with footage or losing footage, there's no like negative feelings, there's no blaming or finger pointing or anything like that. It's more a thing of like a flick switches and it's just like teamwork mode. What did I say?
Flick switches.
A flick
What?
switches. A switch flips. No, I don't know. You know what I mean. Something happens and it's like teamwork mode, and there's just such a power in that. And I find it so cool that like anytime something goes wrong, there's just, let's find a solution, let's work together. And I think that's one of the things I've appreciated the most about traveling together and working through tough moments together, that it's built that up in us and in our relationship. Thank you for your question, Hannah. This question, I feel like we both immediately had an answer for, and the answer is no, we did not set out traveling with the intention to move somewhere else permanently. We're not saying that we would never do that, like never live in another country for a little while, but that was not our intention when going traveling, and we definitely have every intention of eventually going back to South Africa and settling down there and having a future there.
Thank you, Lauren and Seth, for your question. So honestly, for me so far, it's just how friendly the people are. You know, they're never short to just give you a smile and a wave whenever you go past, even if they don't know you from a bar. So it honestly just makes you so happy.
For me, something that I've absolutely loved about this country is how it has just blown us away. Like when we were first getting ready to come here, and when we were literally about to board the plane in Warsaw, we had a moment where we looked at each other and it was like, I'm really scared, I'm really nervous, like, are you? And we were both like, yeah, we're really scared, really nervous. I think that's because when we told people, we would tell people, yeah, we're going to Georgia, and they'd be like, oh, be careful, you know, like, just make sure you're safe and all of this stuff. And it kind of made us like, oh, okay, where are we going? What is this place? We didn't know much about Georgia before coming here. Literally from the moment we arrived, we were just blown away. This place is amazing. It is, I can't even describe. It's literally just, you know that feeling when your expectations are low and then you're just like, whoo, like, whoa, what is this place? It's so cool. I'm getting too excited. I'm gonna just start this answer again.
Honestly, we've been to 3 major cities now. We've been to, well, before this one, we've been to London, Paris, and we've been to Krakow. Honestly, Tbilisi is so much better than all of those 3 cities. Just the architecture and just the people, and it's just amazing. And we've really, really enjoyed this experience so far. Thank you, Tiftot, for another question. So a place that we'd really, really like to go is Iceland. Now, we just want to recover for a bit and have a little bit of warmer weather before we go there, because we've been getting way too cold over the past few months. We know that going to Iceland will get pretty cold as well, but there's definitely a country that we want to get to at some point in the future. Thank you, Alrizzle, for the question. So this one, we're not too happy about this one, but whenever a person would ask you or ask us where we come from and you say South Africa, they kind of take a step back and they say, but you're white. You know, the first time that a person asked us, we kind of had a chuckle. We were like, what? Like,
we were
seriously?
Really shocked. Like,
we were shocked.
Okay.
But then you just get the same question. It's just repeated and repeated and repeated. And just after a while, yeah, it doesn't leave you feeling
unsettling.
really good,
People just don't know much about South Africa and what it's really like there. So it's just sad, I guess.
And the amount of people that still think that, people younger than us even now, that still think that lions and elephants and stuff walk around the street, and they get quite disappointed when you tell them, no, it's actually not like that. It's a little bit...
It's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, but
we'll leave it at
that. Thank you, Kellogg's, for the question. So generally with WORKAWAY, the food and accommodation is covered, but for that you do the work. So basically your form of payment is the food and accommodation. We were lucky enough when we were still in France to be given an opportunity to go and earn a bit of money. So we're doing things such as looking after children and any like handyman work, such as cleaning and like fixing things that are broken and stuff like that.
So during that particular WORKAWAY, we were given the opportunity to work 6 hours a day for 2 weeks and like a proper job where we were earning not even the minimum wage, but we were still pleasantly surprised by how much we were earning. We were earning about 28 euro each a day for 6 hours of work. So we thought that was really good, and it helped us to pay for food in France because we actually weren't getting food at the WORKAWAY in France. So that helped to cover some of our costs for our time in France.
And also it helped us to buy our winter clothes because we actually weren't too kitted up before that, and we learned that very quickly as soon as we arrived in France. But it helped us to buy our winter clothes that we're still busy using to this day. So we're very, very grateful for that opportunity that we were given.
Thank you for your question, Caitlin. We set off with a set amount of money that we had saved up to go traveling. So every time we pay for flights between the destinations, transport, touristy things that we do, we're using the money from that budget that we saved up. Also, because our food and accommodation is mostly covered from our WORKAWAY jobs and opportunities, we've actually been pleasantly surprised by how long that money is lasting us and how far it's getting us. So we're very grateful for that. We're very grateful to be traveling with WORKAWAY, and it's really been a positive thing for our travel experience so far.
Yo, what's up? No, thank you. We clean enough yards as it is, so you can definitely go and clean your own yard.
We hope you enjoyed our Q&A. We really enjoyed answering these questions, and we hope you enjoyed seeing or hearing a bit more about the real and the raw side of our travel experience over the past 6 months. And we hope that you found it useful. We really do hope to inspire people to travel and to go and experience the world. And through our channel, we hope to show people that you don't have to have loads and loads and loads of money to go and see more and do more around the world. So we hope that we've achieved that in some small way.
And thank you everyone for sending in all your questions. We really enjoyed this time, just being able to sit down with you and just chat to you all. But if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a little bit of a thumbs up. It really helps our channel to grow. Comment down any further questions that you do have for us in the comments down below, and we'll answer that for you. And of course, subscribe to our channel so you can join in for the rest of the adventures on these different countries that we plan on going to in the future. And of course, we'll see you all back this coming Tuesday.